Hello, hello, beautiful friends, and welcome back to Soul Intuition. Now, I know it's been a while. I've taken a little bit of a break in order to take care of myself and my family, but today feels like a very spontaneous day. I was called to come on here to talk about the world and where we are right now as we transition into these newer, higher dimensional spaces. And this is completely off the cuff. I have no script or guide on me right now to direct this conversation. So this is just me with you being in this space of unity consciousness, communicating to what it is that you need to hear right now, what it is that I need to deliver right now, honestly. So something that has been calling me forward is to talk about two things. So, I had a beautiful session with my client yesterday, and this has been something that has come up between multiple people who I work with, where they ask, is there any formal way for me to learn how to be me, how to enhance my psychic abilities, how to enhance my intuition, how to really learn the invisible aspects of reality? And my answer is very simple. My answer is that you are already on the curriculum. You are already on the journey. And I think that there's this idea that we want to formalize our knowing and kind of get it structured for us because it's just so much easier that way, right? If you could just give me a book and a curriculum and this is what I need to learn. But to be honest with you, all of our souls, especially now, especially with where we're heading, is going to be so unique and so individualized. And the answer is yes, there is a curriculum. Yes, the curriculum was designed by you. You designed a curriculum of how and what you're learning for this life through your soul path. Now, is there teachers along the way? Absolutely. There's absolutely teachers along the way. And if I work with you, I am one of those teachers and you are my teacher simultaneously. But the fact is that we have a soul contract together. So another way to answer this question is that we have made agreements to work with different people along the journey, not only to learn from and to admire and model from, but to experiment with, right? They're delivering information in a vibration that works for you. You're going to take that vibration, you're going to try it on, and then you're going to see how it fits within your life, right? You're going to experiment with the things that work and that don't work, and then you're going to put down the shit that just does not work. And that's what I've learned along my path. But genuinely, there is always a teacher in front of you. Whether you ask them to be your teacher or not, there's always someone that you are learning from, experimenting from, gathering data from, where you're saying, the thing that you're doing right now is not resonating with me. That is a learning experience. To take it further, there are times where you will want to enhance certain psychic abilities or your intuition or your telepathic abilities to communicate, channel. There are many experts in the world that really chose to make it their soul path to educate and really model what those skill sets are. So if you're finding that your soul is calling you to master something very specific, you can genuinely just ask your soul to show you the way of who this teacher will be, or what information I need to know, or what do I need to read right now, listen to through a podcast right now, in order for me to learn how to enhance these particular skills. So you have soul contracts with people and places and podcasts, for instance. Like these are all soul contracts that you will connect to your own intuition to see if that resonates with you, and you will start to feel that pull. So my advice, if you will, is that you need to slow down enough to really tune into what it is that your body is pulling you towards and follow into those places. If it's inspired by joy, if it's inspired by curiosity, if it's inspired by this is what my soul feels like doing or learning right now, then do that. If you're being called from fear of feeling like I don't have enough, I'm lacking this information, I need to know more, I need to figure it out, that's a good telltale sign that you're being led by fear and not by the divine intuition of what's true. So those are two different distinctions of being called by fear and being called by truth and divinity and curiosity and fun, right? The joy and the pleasure of, I really am excited to do this thing right now. Very, very different tonalities and temperaments and motivations. So learning to differentiate the two, really honing in on what your intuition is guiding you to do, plus knowing yourself, right? Know thyself. So that, I just wanted to share that because you have soul contracts with every single person that you meet, especially when you call them a teacher or a mentor or a guide for you, whether it's temporary or long term. These are all soul contracts. And it's just like a relationship. You know when a relationship is done because you feel it fizzling out. And that's your time to just gently exit out of the situation. There's no obligation that you need to stay in anything. It is your intuitive knowing that the time is up for you and X person, and you need to have the skill set to learn how to break it off without creating harm or karma. So that is another thing to think about when it comes to how you engage with different soul contracts and how you move on from different soul contracts or engage in them. So I wanted to share that bit about, you know, is there any formal training? Absolutely. Your soul designed this formal training, okay? You are never lost. You are always on your way. And if there's any part of you that feels like, oh my God, I gotta find that person, I gotta find the teacher, I gotta figure it all out all in one sweep, um, you are telling yourself essentially that you don't have enough. That you don't have enough. So really think about the tonality of your inner voice when you're asking yourself like, oh, I wish there was more that I can learn. I wish there was more that I need to seek. I don't know enough. If you are in any circumstance being motivated and founded by the lack mentality, just really catch yourself in that moment and maybe consider a different way of talking about it, right? So that will magnetize or detract the circumstances that you're trying to enter at that moment. The next thing I want to touch on is something that has been a theme between my clients. And they are asking me genuinely, like, what do I do? How do I handle the earth's chaos right now? Because the earth is shifting and you can feel the polarization between what works for you, what doesn't work for you, what you resonate with, what you don't resonate with. It is in extreme polarity right now, especially how we're handling politics and government and authority and authorship of your life, right? Just this opportunity to see that you are genuinely the author of your life, no matter what government and what authority or leader is doing, whatever. You are who governs yourself. You are what defines what happens in your reality. So I want to go about this particular conversation talking about what's happening in the higher soul level of humanity. And now, mind you, not everyone is a chosen soul who wants to evolve and see things from a higher conscious level. And you don't have to be, right? That's just it, it's just that plain and simple. There are many players on the game. And if you are here listening to me right now, you are one of those souls who are wanting to evolve on a higher scale, understanding that your soul is here to do something different than what your mind intention or what your mind perceived to be is your soul path, right? Our initial understanding of reality is very different from what the soul knows to be true. And that is what's happening, is the convergence of the soul integration. And many of us are realizing that when you're looking out in the world, there is a deep resonance or disresonance with what is happening, how it's being handled, how you're handling human connection, human communication, human, discipline. All of these things is like really ripping us in half of seeing like they should be doing this, they shouldn't be doing this, this is wrong, this is right, this is the way we should be doing it. There's an extreme polarity happening right now, and it's asking of us internally to really think about what's true for us. So there's a model of thinking that there are two souls happening, right? There's two souls integrating into our reality right now. And it's the soul that had this earthly path, had this earthly contract to have this earthly experience. And then there is the soul who has a more I don't even want to call it more, but has a divine intention that is completely separate from what your human intention and your human goals are. Now, what's happening right now, because of the rapidness of our timeline, the quickness of our evolution, our consciousness, the speed in which data and information is being shared to us, it is on rapid fire. You already know this. Everyone always talks about how time is speeding up, and that's true. And it's true times 1,000. Like, I can't even describe to you how the fabric of our consciousness is so much different than when you were first originally born. The cloth of our consciousness, what was available to us when we were born, is different from when our parents were born, which is different from when our grandparents were born. And when we're having children now, the children of today, their experience of consciousness is so much different than ours as adults. So I was telling you this to say that we are evolving very quickly, and we're evolving so quickly. Consciousness is evolving so quickly that our human minds, our lower minds, cannot even keep up with what's happening right now. And our minds are trying to, right? But it's just not possible. We have to understand how to flow in this new experience of reality, because there is so much shifting and so much chaos going on right now that our adaptability is being asked to become mastered. Our ability to quickly change from one event to the other, of quick change, that the earth is also changing. We're going to be going through lots of fire and earthquakes and all of these earth changes. It's going to put us to the challenge of learning how to adapt to reality and trusting that everything is unfolding as it should. Now, I'm going to go back to the idea that there's two souls coming down into this physical form. Now, there's a lot of tension, not only on the outside of us, but on the inside of us. And for those who are walking that path of evolution, of enlightenment, of knowing that there's just more to life than what we're seeing, we're experiencing a splitting of ourselves. And it's not necessarily a splitting of a separation, but more of a convergence into one. So the tension that is starting to arise within us is that our soul is integrating into this body, and the original soul that was here is the earthly body who had earthly contracts, but the soul is now integrating. So we are in this new path of humanness that we've never stepped into before. This is a very new experience for humanity. This is a very new experience for humans in general. There has been never in recorded history for this time where consciousness is evolving in such a rapid pace and our souls are integrating and has the capacity to integrate, right? We are at such a higher frequency level than we actually understand. It's funny because of the world seemingly so chaotic, it feels like we're going into more density, when in reality, that's not quite true. We are matching equally, if not more than the density that we're observing. There's so much more higher frequency, higher consciousness available to us, but we are being distracted from being able to see that. But I can tell you this, you can feel it on the inside. You can feel the inner soul wanting to awaken and to lead the way. So we are shedding this skin of ours of making choices from a lower mind, from the lower human perspective, from the human perspective. I don't want to call it lower, but it's a denser perspective of reality. It's more confined by these constructs of what we thought reality was. But reality is so much more fluid and more quantum than we can perceive right now. This is what I'm talking about with consciousness being so rapid and so fast that our minds cannot actually understand what's happening in real time of reality's awakening. So, as we live our lives, as we adapt to change, as we adapt to the evolution of our inner world and our outer world, we are being asked to master being able to adapt, being able to rapidly shift from one state to the other without the tension, without the stress, but with ease. So we're being asked to be able to shift with ease without all the emotional drama and trauma, but really being able to just shift with understanding that this is the right direction. This is the right direction, using your intuition to know and lead you into the place that you are meant to be right now in these now moments. So as we evolve, We are slowly shedding away the decisions that we used to make from the human soul's perspective to now the higher soul's perspective. And we are seeing the rightness and the peace and the what feels good to us in our bodies, right? We're not just making decisions because we're socially constructed to do what society wants you to do. There's this urge and this blossoming of doing what feels good, what feels right to my soul. It's a completely different leadership internally right now. And honestly, that can feel very, very uncomfortable. So uncomfortable because you're shedding away how you used to make choices. And your mind, also, your lower mind, your human mind, is trying to adapt to this quickness of reality, to this quickness of what feels so true, but my mind is trying to keep me safe. Like it's a fabulously chaotic time right now to be alive and to be human. So I'm telling you all this to say, find peace in yourself. Really tune into your intuition. Begin to hone in and master this thing we're calling faith and trust. Faith and trust has been a huge influence on me in the past month, 2 months, 3 months. I would say that the past 6 months, the idea of faith, has been really cultivating inside of me internally, and I'm learning through dream space and all these different spiritual spaces internally for me. It's telling me that faith doesn't just appear. Faith is cultivated. Faith is nurtured. And we're asked to nurture that right now, to build that relationship with that frequency of faith. Because now more than ever, will we be relying and being in partnership, divine partnership with faith and trust. Our soul has a deep, deep relationship with faith and trust. And as our soul is integrating into this human form, we are getting to know what that feels like. We're getting to know what that looks like. We're getting to the tangible understanding of faith and trust in the real world. So I'm asking you to cultivate that for yourself, nurture that inside of yourself as you're walking through the world, making new decisions from a place of intuition and not fear, from a place of trust and not safety. We are going to head into a new place together with peace, with love, with compassion. And it's going to be really uncomfortable. It's going to be so uncomfortable because it's new. It's new. And we're going to be challenged. And that is the point of us being on this human journey is to experience the challenge, to experience the pressure. And it's a different kind of pressure, you guys. It's not the pressure of trying to fit in. It's the pressure of learning to be comfortable being yourself. It's a beautiful, beautiful journey that feels absolutely terrifying at times. And I mean terrifying in the most beautiful way, not out of fear, but out of newness, the unknown, and really just like flowing backwards into the cloud of the unknown and knowing that you have everything you need. You always had everything you need. What a, paradigm shift to go into a place of trust, faith, and knowing you have everything you need, where in the old world, it was all about figuring it out. It was all about fend for yourself. It was all about not knowing when the next meal and the next check is going to come, because if you don't figure it out, no one else is going to do it. What an old way of thinking. So I ask you to be brave, and I ask you to trust yourself, because no one's going to have your back like you. Period. And you got you, right? Your higher self, your soul would never, ever, ever create a path in front of you that you can't experience or handle. Whether you know how it's going to unfold or not, it's all unfolding as it should. You have everything you need. Let's cultivate that faith. Let's train our lower mind, our human minds, to know that the soul path, the soul leadership that's embodying in us right now, that's asking us to lean into that trust, to lean into the openness that is required in order for the soul to really be founded within our physical body, physical form. What a beautiful way to be integrated right now. And this next few years, this next 6 months even, it's going to feel really uncomfortable internally and externally. So let's cultivate this faith. You got this. Your soul has divinely curated the most precious and mind-blowing reality for you that you could not have imagined in your dreams. I'm asking us to be brave. I love you. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for being patient with me as I enter back into this reality of podcasting and sharing stories. I love you.